I felt like a back in the day vibe from all like from the buildings. And like when we saw the pictures of back in the day, of the buildings, I thought like, reminds me of something, but I don't really know what. They make decisions for the city, like, I don't know, like they make laws for the city, and they choose what type of buildings get to be built in which places and stuff. They get to choose, like, they kind of take control of the like city and the government of the city, kind of. I don't know if you're allowed to do this, but like during just this time, it wouldn't be a permanent law, just temporary law. You would have to get vaccinated to do stuff like apparently they're doing that in some places of the world because it's now a fourth wave, and I'd like to change that so that COVID could end. But if COVID wasn't around, then it would be probably to help the school boards out, because still a lot of schools in Toronto that are like really old, they still follow dress codes from a long time ago, and it just points out women, which I think is wrong, so I'd change that. About the COVID, how everybody should get vaccinated, that'll be quicker for everybody. I really want COVID to end, to go back to normal. Like all the people who just started school this year, they like think this is normal, but it's not. Yeah, yes. Because it doesn't matter about your race, how you identify. It matters about your personality, and if you're a kind person. People always thought that back in the day, white people could do more stuff than Black people and Indigenous and people of color, and women couldn't do things better than men. Even though we are all different in some ways, we are similar in others. And to be different, that makes us unique. Like, there was someone who declared that men are better than women, and then it just followed on for many, many, many decades. People just thought that women didn't think properly and that they had bad minds, so that if they chose something wrong for voting, they would choose like the wrong person that some of the men would want. I think because everybody back then, they thought women are weak, they couldn't do anything. They're just meant to do chores around the house, and take care of kids. But that's definitely not true. It's something that a man could do, a woman can do too. When you're an adult, you should be capable of voting. If you're talking about little kids like us, then no, but it's probably a different story with 16 and 17-year-olds, like maybe further into maybe 2050. They'll start letting 16 and 17-year-olds vote, but for now, I think they should be allowed to vote. It kind of depends how old you are, and at the same time, I do like that rule, but at the same time, I don't really, because just because you're older doesn't mean you need to be smarter. If there's a school meeting, it's not just about teachers, because my parents were teachers, and we went to some meeting together, and the guy was asking all the parents of what they think, but they didn't ask the kids of what they think, because the kids matter, their opinion matters too, of what they think about virtual learning and how it affects their mental health, and just not the teachers. He was Black, and I guess he just didn't want people always discriminating against people like him, and he thought that it needed a change for once. Maybe he wanted to just reunite everyone and become a peaceful place. in the world.
I think he was very motivated because if he could do it, then other black people would believe that they could do it also. So he wasn't really doing it for just him, he was doing it for other people too. So that what probably motivated him a lot, to prove people wrong.
What gave you the courage to do this? Because you probably know that you would get hate.
How hard was it for you to be so successful in your life? Like, it must have took a lot of hard work, especially because he had color, and like, it must be very hard. So how hard, and what was the challenges you went through?
All those people who have lost hope because of all this, they would find their hope again and regain their hope by those people who may have inspired them, and then they could start making a change in this world.
Because it doesn't matter who you are, you all are different on the outside, but inside you are the same person. So I think it doesn't really matter. You could be small. Everybody could be small.
The people who didn't like the people of color and didn't support them and were racist, they probably still didn't care that he was trying to make a change. They still said that, like, you guys aren't gonna make a difference. You're gonna take over the government. You're bad people. And it wasn't until after that probably people started believing that he actually could do it, because they started seeing his progress.
They think things can change.
Yeah, she was definitely an inspiration, because people who might have lost hope, when she could see that a woman of color could actually be, like, doing something like that.
Freedom looks like to me doing stuff you should be able to do, not holding back from the world. You need to be free from all the rules. You need to feel like you belong there. You need to not be wrapped up in cages. You need to let go and be free.
And I think it should always be remembered. It changed things for the world, and it gave people of color an opportunity to do things. And in school, I think that should be taught. Only, like, certain people who know those stories, and they just don't want to share with the public because they still don't think people of color should be allowed to do things, and that they're racist and stuff like that.
Like, if I did something wrong, like push my sister, I would try not to be that aggressive with her anymore. Try to fix that, but I don't want to remember that for at first I would remember and try to change what I did, but I don't want to remember it for years and years to come on.